Hello.
Good morning. How's it
What's
going?
going on?
Last time you were Hat Guy, we spent like 10 minutes talking about Hat Guy. You're coming in strong on Hat Guy today. You got big old block text on there that says Night Patrol. What does
Man,
that even mean?
I thought I'd sneak this by you. Surprised you noticed this.
Okay. You're not as subtle as you may hope.
I don't know. I just wanted to wear a hat today, and then I got this hat recently. This is from Galaxy Falls. I don't know if you know that
Mm-mm.
cartoon. It was like big in 2013 or 14. Anyway, my oldest son turned me on to it. It's very funny. It's only 2 seasons, so it's nice. It's like tight,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. You don't have to watch 10 seasons or whatever. And in the second season, he has this awesome Night Patrol hat. And there's this whole, whatever. There's some guy who has a little company that makes swag for the show. I don't even know if it's official. I think it's sort of official. A Night Patrol hat. It's just an awesome hat. Although, I don't like this whole flat brim situation. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not a flat brim
last
guy.
last time, I think last time it was the chrome dinosaur hat and it had a weird horn situation. Like the front was too
Oh,
pointy,
yes.
so
Yes,
you
too
couldn't wear
pointy.
it forwards. And
Yeah.
now you got a flat bill. You're all
Flat
over the
bill.
place.
I don't know. Should I tip it down more? How do you wear one of
I
these?
don't
What do the
know.
kids do?
I don't know. I've never worn a flat bill in my life.
It is very bulky up here too, but then this is how it is on the show. On the show, like the
Right.
kid wears it, just like a big billboard type of thing.
Yeah, I
So
think the top part is right. It's the flat bill that
yeah,
I don't ever know how to style.
yeah, whatever. I'm just going with it today. Luckily, this is mostly audio, so it's fine.
Have you ever watched 30 Rock?
I haven't like I don't I need to go back through it. I watched it in real time, but I didn't catch every episode. It's one of those kind of things. I
Yeah.
haven't rewatched. I need to do the
There's
rewatch.
there's a character whose shtick is that he wears a different hat every episode, and
Oh yeah,
it always says something ridiculous on
yeah.
it, and that's
That was
the
always a
same
good bit.
vibes you're
I
giving me
just
here.
I just saw a clip of that show recently, and it was related to him. Yeah, whatever he had the hat with whatever saying
Hmm.
was relevant, and I was like, that was such a good bit. And then I was
Oh,
like, they're making these
such a
custom
good bit.
hats every show.
Every
Wow.
show, such a good bit.
Yeah, just I love an ongoing bit like that, and
I do too.
often they didn't even like address it, right? I think most
No,
of the time they
no,
didn't like address it. Yeah,
no. There
just
was like
had it.
one episode, one that I recall where I think Liz is she's been suspended for sexually harassing Alec Baldwin, her boss, which is hysterical because it didn't happen. But
Right.
she like tries to come into work and she stops by security and she says, "What does Frank's hat say?" And somebody says, and she says, it could be better." And that's it. Like I think that's the only time they acknowledge that there's something written on the hat.
We go down sort of that angle for a second. Do you ever watch or listen to the Rewatchables?
No.
So Bill Simmons, his podcast, you know what it is or no?
No.
Okay, it's probably the biggest movie sort of review podcast, but it's not modern movies. It's all rewatchable movies. So it's all old movies like Ferris
Clever.
Bueller or whatever,
Mhm.
right? And they did Disclosure recently. Do you know what Disclosure is?
Nope.
All right, so we can't really have
The
the
segment's
conversation.
not going well, and that's mostly my fault. So I'm sorry.
It's basically just an awesome tech movie where like Demi Moore sexually harasses um uh Gordon Gekko. Why is his name Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
Michael Douglas. But the whole thing's in Seattle, and they have this awesome office, and it's like the beginning of the internet. It's like 95 or 4 or something this movie's in, and it's just an amazing movie. So go out and watch Disclosure when you have time.
Yeah,
After
sorry,
The
I can't
Godfather.
give you anything. I got nothing to add
We'll
here.
move on.
That's my bad.
All
All right. You want to do so it's, the end of the year. It's December
Yeah.
23rd today.
Mm.
Do you want to do we could do a little, what's going on this week, of course, but we could also do year in review and hopes, plans, and dreams for 2025. How does any of that strike you?
Yeah. I got a present for you.
You got a present for me?
Yeah, I got a present.
Tell me.
So I was driving into the office. It's only like a 4-minute drive. So I pop on Joe Tenenbaum's Side Project podcast.
Yes.
Which you are a guest this week on.
Correct.
And so I've heard 5 minutes of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going out the first 5 minutes. But in the first 5 minutes, you guys were talking about mostly technical, right? We had a little discussion about that. So my present to you this week, I am Yes Man. I am yes man.
No.
Whatever you throw at me, your goals for next year, I am yes man.
No.
Yes. Yes, man.
It's gonna ruin the show, but it's gonna make me feel so great.
One day only. It's just a Christmas
One day
miracle.
only. It is a Christmas miracle.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So you got to throw out some crazy stuff.
Did I call you a no man in the first 5 minutes?
You did, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's my role. But
that is your role.
But today I'm yes man.
Okay. Oh man.
Yeah. You're not even gonna know what to do with yourself.
This is exciting. I'll have to give you some of my real hopes and dreams.
Yeah. What do you get the guy who has everything? I'm like, okay, what can I buy you? All I could give you yes man. That's better than anything.
I love yes man.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. Very exciting stuff. I'm thrilled to death about this.
I am excited to listen to the rest of your show too, though. That it was very good the first 5 minutes. So
that's good. Let's stick on this for a second.
Yes,
did you also watch the Nuno review of Solo?
I did.
Okay.
Yes. So that was great. I thought he did a really nice job of like condensing it down. It's just like 5-minute little segment, and yeah, you know what actually was really interesting. So I thought Nuno's thing was great. Everybody should go check that out. But even in your first couple of minutes of the Side Project podcast, I thought it was interesting the context of, because I haven't Laravel newed up a project either in this new world order of composer or dev or whatever this thing is. So that was also a little interesting nugget of like, oh, like you're sending people down this new path, but then like, yeah, like who would want all that stuff mixed together? That's like, that sounds terrible. So that is more context for Solo, which is very cool.
Yes. Yeah, I felt like the tide turned a little bit on your takes on Solo.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I had a take on Solo specifically. My last week take was more generic, since I hadn't even like really seen Solo. It was more of just everybody's on this TUI thing, and I don't necessarily want to do stuff in the terminal. But you know, this is a little different because there's stuff you have to do in the terminal, right? Like, see, that's the thing to me. Stuff you have to do in the terminal is different than stuff people are forcing into the terminal, which does not belong there. So that is kind of my dividing line. So yes, in the context of here's an HTTP error, and here's a log thing, and here's a dump of a bug, and like all that stuff mixed together, that sounds horrible. Solo bringing order to that sounds great. So I love the idea of that.
Great, I love it. That's great for me.
And you have a quit button. I do. You have help right there. It tells you how to get out.
Just
even though it
shows you how to quit. Yep.
And it doesn't require a special dance like Vim does. So I probably don't even need it, but I like that it's there because you have other commands there too, which would probably be less guessable. So you got all right there.
The good news about quitting Solo is you can also just hit Control-C like you're used to.
Just regular,
you can just interrupt and it just quits and everything is fine. That's how it's supposed to work.
Isn't Control-C weird? Like it is.
It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, the actual command makes no sense. What it does after you do it makes no sense. Like you just return, but it's like you're not even sure what happened. Sometimes it doesn't make no clear that like you quit the thing. Is it even actually quit or like whatever? Like it's all it's very old school.
Once again, building something like Solo, in this case Solo itself, has shown me how little I know about anything.
Right.
It's just like, I don't really understand. I think I've said this before, the difference between like a terminal and a shell and the command line. Is one of those the same as one of the others? Are they all three the same? Who can say? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not my problem.
A terminal is an actual thing. See, that's where I think it starts to get messy. Like in the old days, you had mainframe computers and you had terminals into the mainframe. So like the terminal was just a dumb thing that was the interface to the smart thing, which was the mainframe, which was somewhere else. And now this is all, that is, I think, the like origin of the terminology. But then, like, yes, specifically in the modern era, like, what is a terminal and what is a shell?
What is a shell?
I think the shell is the software, right? I think the shell, like, ZSH or whatever this stuff is, like, that's the shell. It's the software.
And is the terminal my application, like iTerm? Is that my terminal?
I guess so.
Or is that a terminal emulator?
Yeah. I don't know. And is it even a terminal on your local machine? It's a command line. And then maybe that's the difference, right? I like how we could look this up. We're not going to.
No.
It's a command line on your local machine, but now when you like go into a remote server, it's sort of more like a traditional terminal, though it's sort of a little different too. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of this. Comment down below.
Yeah, let us know. I'm sure somebody knows the exact difference. I feel like Florian right knows the difference. No, he's the one that left the how to quit Vim. He knows the difference. Florian, tell us the difference here.
Do we want to know? I don't know if we want to know. Sometimes ignorance is bliss.
That's true. I do operate on that principle quite a bit. Don't know, don't care. Works for me.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice. All right. Well, your terminal convert. So,
well, I wouldn't go that far. But the solo thing, I like it. I want them to bake it in. They got to bake it in. You got to have Taylor take it over.
Yeah. You haven't gotten to that part in the episode yet. But what are your thoughts on? Did we do this last week? I think we might have done this last week, where I said it could end up in the application starter.
We did talk about that. Like, just if they would take it over, how that would work, application starter.
Yeah. Okay, we already did that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do? So we could do. We could do a few things. We could have a tease. Let's do. I'm just gonna make a call, and you're gonna be yes man. So this is awesome.
This is your show today.
We will at the end of the episode, we will talk about the mostly technical 2024 revenue. And if we can beat it in 2025.
Okay.
So stick around to the end if you want to hear dollars and cents.
For the businessy stuff.
Don't fast forward. Just stick around.
Got good stuff in between.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss the good stuff.
If you fast forward, you'll miss it. So don't do that. So 2024 in review. Why don't you start with a look back on 2024?
Man. I don't know. See, my year is so dominated by this whole gallbladder situation.
That's
I was sick from like March till, sort of September when they hacked it out. But then I didn't really feel good before March. And then after they hacked it out, I didn't really feel good. It was better, of course. But I would say only in the last like month have I felt almost normal. And only in the last like couple weeks have I been like really normal. So... yeah, so that was like, man, so I don't feel like I definitely obviously hurt my productivity, all that kind of stuff, which is super annoying. So, yeah, I feel like this is where, of course, it's awesome to have employees because, like, things still happened without me, which is very good. But we didn't really have, like, any huge stuff. I guess we did, I don't know, HubSpot, we did this, like, a re-architecture of some of the internal stuff to put it more on Laravel fully, which is still a work in progress. That's going to be some of the upcoming goals too, but a lot of internal big changes, which is nice. Hired a developer again. So we have another just full-time developer, which is nice. And that's working out really well. So yeah, that's like, I don't know. I don't really have like, I was thinking about this earlier. I was just like, it's so dominated by being sick that like kind of overshadowed everything. But good news is I don't feel sick anymore. So
that's great news.
That's the good news. That's kind of my big takeaway. My big takeaway of 2024 has been get to 2025. So like that's kind of the big takeaway. Sold the parents' house, which we haven't had an update on in a while, but that's like I signed the contracts last night. So hopefully that'll be closing soon. Get that done. Clean slate. So I don't know, maybe we can talk about 2025 stuff in a bit, but yeah, 2024, that I don't even have a good look back other than that. So yeah, let's jump to your look back. You have a lot of stuff that happened in 2024. A lot of stuff, big stuff, man. You had a big year on the happy good side, I would say. So let's
yes, big year on the happy good side. I will also say 2024 was and is the hardest year of my life so far.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Close. Yeah.
Not even close.
Yep.
There have been some things before 2024 that were emotionally very difficult to process, but in terms of just like raw stress and pressure and
front to back.
Oh, dude, worst year by far, easily.
Oh man, worst year. Wow. Worst year or hardest year?
Yes, both.
Both. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. It was also a very good year.
Sure.
Which, is a bit of a dichotomy, but it was easily the worst year for sure.
Welcome to entrepreneurship, sir.
Boy,
Yes.
welcome, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah.
January, we're going all the way back. January, I'm on paternity leave. I get stricken with rheumatoid arthritis. I have two brand new babies, 2 months old.
Yeah.
It's just like devastatingly depressing. I'm like just
you were in rough
crushed.
shape. I remember that back
Oh,
then.
it was the darkest for sure around
Yep.
then. So I'm struggling through not being able to get up and down off the floor, pick up kids, not being able to do anything, trying to build out this apartment studio at the same time,
Building a house, redoing a house,
remodeling a house,
Yes.
all of that. And then I get laid off I think that was early March.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Was it
So
even
I'm on
before that? Jeez,
I'm on paternity leave. I'm depressed. I've got rheumatoid arthritis. I'm on the hook for a studio. I've got 4 kids. 2 of them are brand new, and then I get laid off on paternity leave.
Yeah.
So that was pretty bad.
That's
not
great.
great.
That's true. I've kind of blocked that whole part out. That's
You and me both. Yeah.
I only went post layoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pre-layoff, rough time
pretty
there. Yep.
bad start.
Yeah.
And then took all those interviews, and then Steve and I decided, let's give it a go. So
Yep.
we decided to start Try Hard Studios. And this whole year has been kind of like I feel like it's been a exploration process of figuring out what exactly it is that we do. We started out trying to do almost like DevRel video consulting, and nobody really wanted that at all.
Right.
And so we quickly abandoned that and moved more. Sorry, I'm also sick. Moved more into making our own stuff, and so we released High Performance SQLite in July, and that was the exact same time as the remodel was finally being finished. It was supposed to be finished the December before, and they finished 6 months later in July.
Close enough.
Yep. So that was awesome. And I wouldn't even want to talk about all the stuff they did wrong.
Right. I was going to say that they weren't actually done because they weren't actually
done.
Yeah.
They just said you can move in. So it was a sprint to SQLite. And then on that same thread, it was a sprint to Postgres, which came out in October. And so both of those were just absolutely huge amounts of work and stress and pressure. But I've got them both done. In the middle there, had Laracon US that I was emceeing. Fortunately, I didn't give a talk, so that made that part a lot easier. Yeah. But after launching Postgres, I feel like Try Hard is on pretty stable footing in terms of revenue. And so
a little cash in the bank.
We're able to slow down a little bit. We had that retreat in Boise where we sat down and figured out kind of what the plan is for the next 3 to 6 months and what it is we do here. And that was extremely helpful. So I feel like going into 2025 or wrapping up 2024, we have a pretty good sense of what we do, pretty good sense of what the plan is, and I think a clear line to make, as much money as we're planning to make in 2025, I think. So we can talk about that in a second, but 2024, stressful, brutal. The number of times I stress cried this year, higher than any other year.
Wow.
By double,
oh my goodness.
Easily, by triple, probably. Yeah. It's just been, because all of that's going on. Meanwhile, I've got 4 kids, a stay-at-home wife, an au pair. So that's 7 mouths to feed. Right. Three vehicles that we have to pay, insurance and maintenance and all that on. New house. All the expenses are just continuing to increase. They
don't go down usually. Yep.
They don't go down. Maybe the tariffs will make everything go down. I don't know much about tariffs, but that'll probably do something.
Way, actually,
dang it. Property taxes in Texas are crazy. So incredibly stressful. But I think the bulk of the stress is behind us. That is my hope. Now that like now that
Very
like
optimistic of you.
I know. Now that 2 of these courses are out there, the company is set up and running. We have
That's really
Kelsey.
good.
We didn't get Kelsey until like
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
many months into being in existence. And so, you know, that has already helped in a massive way. So a lot of the things that needed to be started up have been started up. And now it's just like keeping the ball rolling. So that is hopefully going to make 2025 a lot better. But not a great year. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think we're both
great
in that
outcomes.
camp of like
great outcomes.
Good outcomes. I think we're both in the bad year, good outcomes camp this year. Yeah, it is hard when especially with the kids, like you want to have a certain level of like, you want to have a good interaction level. And it's not like 1950s where you just want to like go out for the day to your office and come back and go to your library and
smoke inside.
A pipe, right? Yeah. Like, not interact with the kids at all. So you're trying to do that and keep that up. And obviously babies are just their own thing. So yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. That's the summary, I guess. I don't know. What about a rheumatoid arthritis update though? Since you brought that up, like how's that going?
It's going so much better.
Okay, good.
So I still don't drink Diet Cokes regularly. I'll get them when I go out sometimes, but I haven't had as a treat. Haven't had a Diet Coke in the house since we talked about that. The diet has relapsed a little bit back to like normal.
Same.
But I think the real game changer was getting on this medicine. Also, I started sleeping so much better. So like lots of things have gotten better. But I think, sorry, I keep muting to cough. I think the real game changer was this methotrexate. And so I started on that. I was on like 4 medications at once.
Right.
And I didn't like that. And so just because I wanted to, I started quitting some of the medications. And so I quit all of them except methotrexate, and I was still totally fine. So then phase 2 has been taking less methotrexate each, like, I don't know, I'd maybe change it each month or something. So
like stepping it down a bit.
Yeah, I started on 8 pills every Sunday. So it was like 8 pills at once a week. Very strange delivery mechanism. Yeah.
Okay, that's really weird.
And now I'm down to 4. So I'm down to 4 pills once a week. I didn't tell my doctor or anything, but it's fine. You do whatever you want. It's America. So
it's Texas.
Yeah, the goal is to see how low I can get it, because I figured less medicine is better. And there's still part of me that thinks it was all situation dependent. And now that a lot of the stressors have gone down, not necessarily away, and I'm sleeping, I'm hoping that everything is fine now. So I'll continue to march it down and see how low we can get.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard when they're mixed in with like the extreme stress and all that stuff, and you're not sleeping, and obviously it makes everything so much worse. And then it's like, who knows what fixes it? And then you're on a bunch of medicines, or you're going for a bunch of tests, and who knows what's what, and then you don't even know what helped or not because you're on all the different things and doing different things and all that stuff. So, all right, well, that's good then. And also, it's nice too, where it's like, if it gets worse or whatever, it's like you have something that is working for you, it seems like.
Correct.
So it's like, okay, you got to go back up, you go back up or whatever, but it's not, you can probably most likely avoid the whole round and round of what is even wrong and what works or doesn't work. It's like you kind of have that a little more dialed in, so you can
skip the debilitating depression part. I really like to skip that when possible.
Oh man, that part's the worst. That
part is the worst.
Modern science, I'm all here for it. Like hacking this gallbladder out was great. It's like boom, you're in, you're out. It's like now like that's healed up pretty fully. It's like you can barely even see the scars. It's like crazy. I'm like, this would have just killed me like 100 years ago, and now you can't even tell anything happened. So
I would have been so dead 100 years ago from the first one, from diabetes. I never would have made it to rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah, crazy. Hey, science is good. Let's get out
Science
there. We
is
need more
good.
scientists. We're down with the science. So
Big
get out there,
fans of
kids.
science here on the pod.
Yeah.
Love the science.
Oh man. All right. So 2024, that's behind us. We're moving on, bigger and
We're moving
better.
on.
All that stuff. All right. So 2025.
You tell
What do you
me.
got? Me first? All right.
Yeah. Hopes and
2025.
dreams.
My stuff's so interesting. It's interesting we do this podcast, because like my stuff is so sort of stable and long term.
You're steady Eddie.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
but I
you
do
are.
definitely have goals. I think the big couple are continued like heavy reworking of like the internals of HelpSpot and some of the, not like just internals, but just the structure, architecture. With the big thing in the nearish term being getting more on Livewire, probably redoing most of the front end actually in
Wow.
Livewire, and in conjunction with that, like modernizing a bunch of stuff, which is all old school PHP right now, and just also just like jQuery and all that kind of stuff. So Flux has been the thing I've been sort of waiting for that, because I don't want to build a component library myself.
Of course not.
And so now we have Flux. It's like, okay, great. And I also didn't want to do React. Like, I mean, whatever. At the beginning of the podcast, I was going through that.
I know you're a big React guy for a second.
I just don't like the React. That's just
me
reality. Either. So, yeah. So now we have Flux and we have Livewire 3 and everything's wonderful. So now we can proceed kind of down that path of staying in mostly PHP land and, sprinkle of Alpine here and there, and all is well with the world. So that's going to be a big project. Marketing / website stuff is kind of the other big one. Kind of a new website in process. That's going to take more of like just trying something totally different. Obviously every other help desk out there is standard B2B SaaS template. So going to do more of like a sales letter kind of thing. It's a little bit of a hybrid. I don't want to go like pure sales letter and like there is only one page and there is literally nothing
10,
else.
10,000 words.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a hybrid where it's there are going to be other pages on the site to some degree, and there will be like feature list if you want to go through all the features, but it's going to be like de-emphasized, and just the homepage will be more sales letter, right? Probably not the full 10,000 words
but more than a manifesto, more than like a once.com manifesto.
I would say that kind of length probably, but not that style either of like theirs is just text, so it'll still have like some other elements of like screenshots, but not like the box of screenshot with a blurb of text like standard B2B SaaS. More like more text to start for sure. Then like there's maybe just one row with screenshots that's like, hey, if you want screenshots, great, you could click this and go see the screenshots, but we're not going to have like 40 screenshots on this page. The like social proof and all that stuff, testimonials, but more the idea of like starting with the person, their problem, and the problem that it solves, whereas most obviously are just like focused on features. And even if they focus on the problem, it's not like descriptive necessarily. It's more just like, hey, you probably have too many tickets, and then it just goes into features. So I don't know if it's going to work better than what we do now, but I figure it can't hurt. And if it it's easy enough to switch back to the more standard B2B SaaS.
It definitely can hurt, but you'll know pretty quickly, and you can switch it back.
That's true. I guess that's a better way to put it. But yeah, so we'll switch it back fast enough if we need to. Gonna do a new logo.
Who's gonna do this long form copywriting? Is that gonna be you?
Yeah, it's like me. Jamie's working on it. Dave's in there a bit. So yeah, so mix of people kind of in there on that. But so we'll see how that goes. It's almost done-ish. Still, like this week, I thought I was hoping to get it out before this week, because this week I'm going to mostly be off just for various things. So we will see when it actually gets out, but hopefully in the next couple weeks that'll be out. And I'm going to do a new HelpSpot logo. I don't really even have a good reason for this, but just to, I want a new logo, and so I'm doing a new logo. I don't really love the current logo. I loved the original logo, but it's definitely like really old school now. So I wouldn't want to use the original logo. So gonna do contracted with actually Icon Factory to do a logo and some stuff along those lines. And so that'll be fun, little sort of design logo-y project. And yeah, that's kind of it. Like once we get through that stuff, then it's gonna be new features. It's all in the HelpSpot realm. Trying to stay focused on HelpSpot, not get off the side projects. No man for myself. No man for myself. But I think there's gonna be so much stuff mixed in there that's not really like the side projects are gonna be like if we redo the whole front end of the app to like Livewire and Flux, that's like making it a side project in a sense.
That scratches the side project itch.
Yeah, it's like here's the whole new interface for a thing, and it's like, well, yeah, it's just the thing we already work on, but it's going to be a lot of new stuff. So, that's kind of the current thinking. Yeah, that's kind of as far as I've gotten. I'm not a big like, I don't know. I just feel like we always operate on such a long timeline. I don't like usually late. I actually have more plans this year, I would say, than I normally do in terms of like this interface stuff, the website. Normally I'm not even like that. I don't have that. That's already more things than I normally am planning. So that's kind of the big plan. Personal stuff, I don't know.
Well, do you have revenue, hopes, dreams, and goals for
revenue company? Go up? Revenue go up.
Yeah, by how much?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't play that game. Do I have revenue goals? I would say I don't actually have revenue goals. I would say I have more. It's sort of the same thing, but not exactly. I have more of a new customer goal. So like I'm more interested in the count of new customers, and increasing that a bit over our current levels, and then the revenue. Hopefully, obviously, if that customer count goes up, generally the revenue number goes up. Although it's not 100% true, depending on like the size of the customers and things like that, but. Yeah, so I'd say the new website is sort of more targeted I think, at kind of the core customer group we usually serve, which is sort of like very small up to like 25 to 50 users. So we're going to dial in more on that and see if we can get more of that kind of user. So I don't have a percentage though for sure, but I would just say, yeah, increases there, even modest ones. I would be fine with that. Geez, I had something else along the lines of that. New customers. Yeah, I can't remember. Lost it. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing there. Yeah.
I'm bummed to hear about this about no side projects. No budget apps, no nothing.
No budget apps. Maybe I'll come on here and talk about one. And then you have to be no man to me. You gotta be Ian.
That's not gonna happen. Sorry.
You never know. Sometimes stuff pops up too. I mean, it depends a lot also on like how fast things go, and like we have the dev again who's full time and really just working on HelpSpot stuff, and so he's been great so far. So if this project goes faster than I think it will, then that opens up more time a little bit, even for myself. So if there's something pops up, who knows? Maybe I'll still work on something, but not a goal. And the other thing is, like, I'm kind of, if I ever did something else, I just want to, I don't know, software. Okay. Here's a side.
Here we go. We got
you got me here. Here's my side. If I do a side project, in terms of ones I'm actively have given any actual thought to, it would be something along the lines of equine photography.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
This is something I've been studying a little bit. My daughter rides horses.
Okay.
There is like a whole, there's like levels. Obviously, there's like people who just be like, okay, $200, I'll come take a picture of you and your horse or whatever. Obviously, I don't really have any interest in that, but I would just be interested in doing it as a hobby and just for whatever. My niece rides, my daughter rides, we know other people, they have friends. Well, maybe I'll get into it a little bit and just do photos for people I know.
Okay.
But if I get good at it, I would consider doing maybe something in that as a side project. Is like, hey,
wow,
if I could find the right amount of money that's motivating, like whatever, maybe it's like $3,000. I don't know. I know how much you can get away with, but then again, like people at my kid's barn are like the CFO of,
Yeah, horse
Oracle or
people, you can
whatever.
charge them whatever you want. Yeah.
we are like the very bottom of the barrel. We had no
Yes.
business even being there. Everybody else is like fabulously wealthy. So
Yeah, this isn't YMCA soccer. This is equine.
Right. So I think there is money around. If I'm gonna give up a half a day somewhere and go take some photos or something like that. But yeah, so I've been studying that.
I
a
did not
little bit.
expect that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one at all.
Left field.
That's great.
Yes, I like the photography a lot. Photography's fun, and the thing that's tricky about it is I like the cameras. I like to do real photography with real cameras, right? But the phone is so good. Like your phone is very, very good, and
my phone is very good.
Do everything the camera can do, but it's like you really have to push the camera now to do things that the phone can't do. Like you got to really be kind of a little bit more on the edge in order to get a look that your phone can't produce.
Right.
And so that kind of ties in with that a little bit. Like, okay, like where can I actually use my camera? Like my kids don't want the camera in their face. Even if I do that, it's like, whatever. It's not that much better than if I just pull out my cell phone and take a picture. So how do I use this in more interesting ways? So I'm kind of dabbling a little bit in some architecture, photography and things like that, but that's not really convenient for me, like around here necessarily that much. So
see, we all just want to be artists at the end of the day. That's all we want.
Software development is very artistic. I think it's a very, very artistic profession.
I agree.
In my opinion. Yeah. People always think it's like math. Like if you just talk to the common person, they're like, oh, it's all math. And I don't have a brain for that. I'm like, it's
problem solving.
1%.
It's puzzles.
Yeah. It's like puzzles, and art is basically like
fully agree.
It's much closer to that than to like science in terms of a scientist kind of angle on it. So yeah, so that's something I've been thinking about. That would be
horse
my
photo
stretch.
guy.
Horse
I like
photo
it.
guy. Yes, horse photo guy. There's tons of horses around here. There's Saratoga, which is like a big horse mecca kind of thing, a couple hours away. But even just right around me, there's all these horse farms of various flavors, and so it could be something. We'll see.
It could be something.
I'm going to take some horse photos starting with my daughter, and we will see. It's not the best time of year for horse photos, so it's just more of I'm in kind of a prep phase. And then get to springtime, maybe we'll do some shoots.
Plus, you get to buy new gear.
Love
because now it's a write off. If you get paid, you get to buy stuff, and it's a write off.
Oh, you think I haven't thought about that? That's
I know
the main impetus, baby. I'm like, how can I
buy more stuff?
This camera gear and write it off?
I feel it.
Exactly.
Feel it in my
bones. Especially
bones.
some of the stuff like which I don't have yet, which is like really long lenses and things like that. So there's just no good justification for me personally owning. It's like I can't. Even I haven't bought this because I can't justify owning this thing. Like there's nothing.
But think if the horse is far away, what are you going to do?
Yes, you actually need it for that. That is what it's for.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
Totally has a purpose.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. I'm not really a zoom lens guy, but there are cases for them, and the horse photography might be one of those because the horse is moving. Depending on what you're doing. It's not always moving in these photos, but at times that you would be capturing action shots.
That is one thing about horses. They move. They move a lot. That's kind of their deal.
Interesting aspect of this.
How the horses move?
Yeah, like well, just like working with the horse, right? Because the horse is a prey animal. So it's very sensitive to sounds and lights and things like that. So you're trying to get the horse to do what you want it to do when a person's there, and you're trying to take photos, and how do you keep the horse chill? And, yeah. There's this cool podcast, Cowgirls with Cameras, which is a horse photography podcast, which is quite
deep
good.
Cut, yeah.
So if you're interested in equine photography, I would check that podcast out. It's really good. So there you go.
Maybe only search that in like the podcast store, because I bet if you search Cowgirls with Cameras, I don't know. It seems troublesome to me.
It could get you in trouble.
Yeah, it's questionable.
Don't do it at work.
Yeah, just open Overcast and search just in there. That's probably wise.
That's probably the
play. Horse guy.
Horse guy.
I like it.
A little different.
A lot different.
That's the thing. The side project can feed maybe some other aspects of me rather than just more software, you know? That's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to lean on.
I agree.
So
I like that.
Yeah. All right, what do you got going on? I know you got big plans. I know you got 8,000 plans, and I'm
Yep.
here to say yes.
You're here to say
Every
yes to
single
all
one.
of them. God,
Every
this is
single
my
one.
day. This is
This
awesome.
is your day. Let's do it.
All right, 2025. Try Hard Studios Inc. Well, Try Hard
And
Studios
yourself.
LLC.
Yeah.
And myself. All right. At least 3 courses
Okay.
from Try Hard that I am the instructor for.
Aaron Francis.
Yes.
Base courses.
To say nothing of potential guest courses. At least 3 Aaron Francis led courses under the Try Hard brand.
All database?
I think we talked last week about Intro to SQL.
Yes.
So I think that
Plus
is
database.
definitely on the table.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that we do a full Laravel from scratch course.
Ooh. See, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
That would also skew slightly beginner. So this would follow the same line as Intro to SQL, not targeting intermediates.
Now, beginner to programming or beginner
Open
you're coming
question.
from JavaScript,
Yeah.
and you want to learn Laravel.
Open question for sure.
Okay. Right.
But importantly, not relevant to you. Like not relevant to like the people who have been using Laravel. Like you're not going to learn anything new about Laravel in this course if you've been using it for 5 years, you know?
Right. Gotcha.
You might, but it's not targeted at you.
Yeah.
So whether it's, you know, switching from a JavaScript stack to Laravel, or it's just like, I want to start dabbling with programming, that much I'm not sure.
Yep.
So intro to SQL, probably intro to Laravel. New screencasting courses, several of them. So one taught by me. Just the flagship course we'll redo again. So this will be the 3rd time I've redone it.
Wait, is this now on screencasting.com or something? Okay. So redoing the screencasting.com course. Okay.
So screencasting.com is going to grow to be the second major leg of the business. So we'll have databases and screencasting. And then
I love that. I feel like that hasn't gotten enough love. I want to see the screencasting get love because I feel like you guys have such expertise there, and it just feels a logical addition there. Yeah.
I love Yes Man Ian. This is great.
That's not even Yes Man Ian. That's just Ian.
That's just regular. Wow, that was no man agreeing with me. That's awesome. Yes. So screencasting has been neglected for good reason. We needed to do this other stuff, but now is the time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to redo the main course, which is like the flagship theoretical philosophical thing. What to do, why to do it, how to teach, how to record, all that kind of stuff. Steve is going to do at least 3 courses that are editor specific. So he's going to do, Premiere, Resolve, Final Cut, because he's worked professionally with all of them.
Right.
So he's going to do all of those. He's already rented a little storage pod and moved all his garage stuff into the pod so he can set up his garage as a studio. So he's he's cooking. He's ready to go.
Okay.
So we'll have a full revamp on screencasting.com. And then there are a few others that we could potentially knock out. One would be the MySQL flagship course. Right. So we would round out the big 3 by doing the MySQL course, with hopes of absolutely decimating the previous MySQL course that I did.
Yes, vengeance. I love vengeance.
Yes.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yes, vengeance is the Lord's, but also I kind of want a little bit for me, so that's probably healthy. So that is on the table, and then there are a few like minor courses that I could potentially do, and whether these are free or paid is still an open question. But I could do one on, and I want to, on building a 2E application, building Solo. I think that would be very interesting and a lot of fun. And then there's one that I have thought would be very practical. The market would be relatively small, but it would be very practical. So at the property tax company, a big part of what we did was importing data, and we're talking like 4, 5, 6 gigabyte CSVs,
Really
many
parsing stuff.
many millions of rows of
Right.
CSVs that you're importing.
Mhm.
And I think it would be fun to do a course on that in Laravel, specifically like for proper back office. Like we got to build a freaking app, and we got to import massive CSVs and all the tips and tricks.
Through data
yes.
here, yeah.
All the tips and tricks I learned from these multi-hour imports, I think would be a lot of fun.
Now at one point there was discussion on here about something along the lines of a high performance Laravel.
Yes,
you could imagine that being part of that potentially.
Yes. So that's still on my mind. It's a bit vague in terms of where it will land. Yep. I think it's potentially. I think additionally I need to do an Eloquent course like that. I think that is clear. That is the crossover. Yeah, that's database. That's Laravel. That's obvious. Right. Now the question is that high performance Laravel? I don't think so. Right. Because high performance Laravel includes so much other stuff. You know, it includes caching and Octane and all of this other stuff. But yeah, I still need to figure out the shape of all of that, because it is obvious to me that an Eloquent tips, tricks, and patterns, advanced Eloquent needs to exist. And needs to exist in our stable of offerings. So I'm not entirely sure yet.
Okay. I like all that. Yes, man. Ian's on board.
Yes, man. All that's good. Okay, so other things. I will be speaking at Laracon EU in February on a library that is, 60% done. So I gotta hustle on that.
It's farther along.
Oh yeah. Okay, I've definitely started. I don't talk about it because it's supposed to be a big reveal. That's the whole point. So that'll happen in February. I would like to shore up. I think that's a theme for 2025 is like we did a lot of expansion in 2024 and just kind of going in every direction. And I think we found the directions that work and are profitable. And now it's time to hone those. So shoring up the open source side of the Empire. So there's lots of issues and lots of enhancements and that kind of stuff. That is the vision there, is to shore it all up, consolidate it, and then put all of the docs and everything on aaronfrancis.com and make aaronfrancis.com the destination for lots and lots of content. So that is that's also a goal for 2025. Tryhard Studios will release 1, if not 2, desktop applications in 2025 . What?
Is it what you talking about, Willis? I don't know if you know what that is, but
I do. Yeah, I only know it from the quote. Never saw it originally. Yeah, so at least 1 desktop app, maybe 2. Stretch goal of 2.
Yes, man. Ian likes it.
Okay.
What's other Ian? A little worried. Regularly, is a little worried about all that, but okay. Now, is this Aaron Francis production? Is this Steve working on these? Is this outsourced? Is this combination?
Combination. So far, producer Steve has gotten about 90% done on one of these desktop applications.
Oh wow! There's by himself. Stuff happening.
Haven't touched
behind
it.
the scenes.
Haven't even freaking touched it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So these would both fall in the. These would both fall under the screencasting arm of the business, and so they are video related.
I didn't even realize that. Well, now you're really throwing curves at me. Okay.
Oh yeah. So producer Steve has been diligently working on
even more, honestly.
Oh yeah, do you?
Yes.
Okay, I like this.
That's an area where you guys have I feel like an interesting advantage in some ways, where things that people in that market more inherently are maybe not as sophisticated in when it comes to marketing and things like that. And so I like that sort of leveraging that there. That sounds good.
Okay, good. Got the sign off.
Yeah.
This is my day. So yeah, that the first one will maybe come out, the first 1, 2, 3 months of next year. And then the second one, we are in talks with a a potential partner to help us build that one out.
Interesting.
And this is the second one is, I think it is our best. I think it's our best idea. This second app. This is our biggest opportunity, I think. And so whether or not it gets done in 2025 is an open question. I imagine there's some form of it that will ship next year. That is the goal, at least.
It sounds like you wouldn't be doing the production, or not entirely.
No. So the person that we're in talks to partner with is somebody who has built an adjacent app and has just incredible skills, and somebody that I've known for 10 years and trust. And so I think it's going to come together that the three of us will work on it. They have the deep technical knowledge on like on the Rust side and all this stuff that I don't know and don't want to know. Steve has the deep knowledge on some of like the UI UX of what this thing should feel like. And I can create a spectacle. And so I think between the three of us, it'll come together.
On the spectacle side, I was wondering about, like, so I know you're talking at, like, you're the keynote at that web dev conference. I forget the name, next year. And I'm sure you're talking at Laracon EU, probably US, let's assume, or whatever.
Talking at Kent's conference as well.
Okay. What about on the screencasting side of the world? I wonder if there's like some big conferences,
that's interesting,
for you to be speaking at, or other types of things in that ecosystem where you can be out there with, I don't know, producers, maybe like a podcast conferences where it's like people want to get more into doing video in some form for their podcast or whatever.
I wonder if Craft and Commerce is something that I could speak at.
Craft and Commerce, yeah, like that. Just like the expansion of outside the pure devs,
that's also a big goal for 2025 is to break out even further.
Yeah, and you have obviously you can point to a million talks you've done, so like you have, which is like a big thing people are usually looking for, obviously, especially if it's someone they don't know. It's like you can point them to, here's 10 talks I've done and that were well received and all that. So
that's interesting. Watch this. Kelsey, I know that you're listening. Can you figure out if there are any conferences like that I should be speaking at, and let me know? That would be awesome. Thank you.
Real time.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Look at that.
That's a great idea. Yeah. I should look into that, which I just did by asking Kelsey to look into that.
Yeah, or maybe there's guest appearances on podcasts or vlogs or whatever. All that kind of stuff. So that'd be cool to see you out there on the other side.
I would love to be on the other side. I would love that. Yeah. There are days, not with our friends, but with the broader tech community. There are days that I'm very tired of the tech community.
So bad.
Tech is the worst, man. It's the worst.
Okay, that's one of the worst customers too. Even though they're your customers and for what you do, they're fine because they're not coming back to you with stuff. But selling stuff to developers, just generally speaking, that's so bad. We talked about this before.
We've talked about this. The good news is there won't be developers in 5 years. True. They're just going to be all gone. There's going to be no more.
The AI, will license your content so it can learn from you. And
there you go.
Boom. OpenAI is going to be paying you.
Yeah, I think
paid.
I think if there's a track record of anything, it's the AI companies paying to license content. That sounds about right for sure.
Oh, they're coming there in Francis for the content, baby, with a check, a big check, big juicy check.
Yeah, we'll see. So 1 or 2 apps, 3 or 4 courses, some open source consolidation.
Okay.
I don't think this will get this next part will get completed in 2025. But I mentioned it on the last episode, a non-technical book out of Aaron Francis's brain. I know.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
You got to get on the Nathan Barry 500 words a day thing. Like you just got to set aside, half an hour or whatever.
I really do.
500 words, 500 words.
There's also a very high possibility that TryHard releases a SQLite book that is the course above and beyond, or with different examples and stuff like that. So that's also on the table.
Like with a publisher or self-published?
No, probably self-published. Yeah. I think if I can pull off this other book the way that I want to, it'll be proper. Look for a publisher kind of thing.
Man,
I know.
You got to give us something. Give us a taste. We want a taste.
Oh, it'll be directionally similar to a lot of my non-technical articles.
Okay.
With a unifying,
Just do things that kind
yes,
of.
there's a unifying
vibe. Okay.
theme that like ties them all together, but it will be directionally similar. And so some of like what I'm writing, some of the non-technical stuff that I'm writing is workshopping for chapters in the book.
Right.
So write a non-technical article, publish it, get some feedback, get some examples, some counterpoints. That all goes into the notes to workshop for the eventual book. So there's a strategy here.
When you become Tim Ferriss,
I know
that's only good for Mostly Technical. So I want you to become Tim Ferriss.
Let's
do it.
I agree.
Let's do it.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly. There we go.
Or lifts Ian's boat. That's all we care about.
Boat.
That doesn't matter. What all boats? Give me a break.
Give me a do-nothing job where I show up once a week and record for 2 hours. No problem. I'll be here.
Gladly give you a corner office and a do-nothing job. Revenue goal for 2025.
Money.
2025 calendar year revenue goal for Try Hard Studios. Top line, $1 million.
A lot of zeros.
It's a lot of zeros. 6
plus
of them.
Another number.
That's right.
Okay. I think you can do it.
Eminently doable.
I think you can do it. How's the existing courses going? You want to give us like a, just generally their sales are holding up?
Sales are holding up.
Kind of thing?
Yep. Sales are holding up.
That's a huge leg up there on getting to $1 million.
Huge leg up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have to invent new stuff every time.
There is a possibility that in the 12 months since having started the company, which it's not happened yet, I think that'll be, March, April, whatever. There's a possibility that in those 12 months we hit $1 million.
That's great.
There's a possibility. It's a little bit of a stretch goal. But that's definitely possible.
That's awesome.
And I'm cooking up a tweet for, end of the year in review kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find the most the pithiest, most compact way to like write the lead. But I think the lead is basically, I got laid off in March, and since then we've earned 3 times my salary.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out how to like compress that into to make it the most punchy. But it's a pretty good lead.
That is a good lead. That's a really good lead. I think people will be very excited about that and will want to hear more for sure. So that will be very good. How do you plan on, like, what are your thoughts, I guess, on deploying this capital? Because
so far we've deployed it into our personal bank accounts, and it's been awesome.
Well, that's the thing, right? So, like, every sort of bootstrapper founder has this, question you have to ask yourself. Like, am I putting the money into the business to grow the business, like, aggressively? Or am I more taking it as profit? Not for myself, like I've mostly taken it as profit. Like I have employees, but I've not like said, okay, I'm going to take every dollar and I'm going to like double down and have twice as many employees, or we could be having big marketing budgets or whatever. Like that's not the path I've at least previously chosen.
Right.
So what is your thoughts there on what you guys are going to do?
So thoughts looking back were, we spent 6-7 months without getting paid. So we just kind of took massive amounts of distributions when the time finally came to like get back to normal. So Steve and I have talked a lot about we need to spend money to move faster.
Right.
And I think 2025, provided the income or the revenue stays the same, we will try to spend money to move faster.
Yeah.
And I think in some regards that will be hiring an editor for some of our screencasting stuff. Steve doesn't need to be wasting his time editing. He just really, he doesn't. So hiring an editor to do some of that, potentially hiring a part-time Laravel developer to both help build out, continue to build out our screencasting platform, and also help push some of the open source stuff forward, because that is like a marketing vector for us. And I am the bottleneck there.
Yep.
And so we've talked about spending money in those 2 ways. And then silly stuff like Steve and I both pay for O1 Pro. So we're paying $400 a month between the 2 of us for ChatGPT O1 Pro.
Oh, you got right up on that
Oh,
upgrade. They
yeah.
just launched the upgrade like 2 weeks ago or something.
I know.
You're
and
on
we're
it.
on it.
Okay.
And
How do you
so
like it? The O1
it's
Pro,
awesome.
is it good?
It's amazing.
All right, maybe I should check this out.
I also
haven't
pay
checked
for
the O1 Pro.
Gemini. I pay for Gemini Advanced Research
On
mode.
them all. Okay. I gotta get on these things. I gotta check these out.
Steve is the one who's really been good about leveraging these AI tools.
Yeah.
Like I told you, he's been building this app, and I mean, I don't know if he's used Electron before actually, but it's an Electron app. But he's like, oh yeah, every time I have any question, I just go to O1 Pro, and it like writes it all out and spits it out, and then I take it and tweak it and put it back in. And he and I are on the same page about AI, that it's very good at discrete tasks. And so he'll like copy out a chunk of code and take it over, get the answer, and come back. Neither of us like the AI editors that are trying to like intuit what you want, because they're always wrong.
Yeah, I've been playing with Cursor. It's nice to have it right in there, but yeah, it's not that much better than when you copy paste it out. It's just more convenient in some ways, but then it's not as convenient as I feel like it could be. It's not as convenient as I feel like it should be, given that it's built in some ways. But yeah.
So stuff like that. Like I just resubscribed to Midjourney. And I bought, this is gonna make some people so mad. I paid $50 for a PDF of Midjourney prompts.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's business, baby.
It's
because
business.
here's what happened. We're redesigning AaronFrancis.com.
Yep.
And it's in a very news website style, so like Atlantic, CNN, something like that, where it's got lots of cards, lots of columns, lots of stories, that sort of thing. And it was becoming very heavily image dependent, and we needed something that was like a consistent theme across all of the images. And we looked at like hiring a designer to do it. And then not only was it expensive, but the turnaround was so slow. Like you'd say, hey, I need this image, and it would be like a week and a half later, they get you something and you're like, I don't know. So I, played around a bunch with like ImageMagick and these APIs that can like apply a style to an image, and none of them really looked great. And so I finally went back to Midjourney. Now that they're out of freaking Discord, they have an actual web app.
Oh, do they? Okay. Yeah. Last time I used it was Discord
to try to use the thing.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So
I went over there and I was like, all right, this is cool. What do I type? I was like, I have no freaking idea. And so I went looking, and I found this pack it was a PDF. I think it was $50, and it had like 460 prompts with, example images. And I was like, perfect. That's what I need. And so I bought that and scrolled through the whole thing until I found a style that I liked. And now I'm using, they have like I think it's like a reference string or something. And now I'm just using that, and it's just generating consistent images for me over and over and over. So what I do is, and I think I'll make a video on this because it's pretty interesting. I think I find, I will start by going to Unsplash and finding a free to license Unsplash photo, and then taking that photo over to Midjourney and using that as a starting point. So you can like upload a photo and then type out the whole prompt and then add that little reference code and hit generate. And it kind of takes the Unsplash photo and uses that as structure, but then kind of like does its whole like dream thing and voodoo and draws it in that exact style. And then I'll do it over and over until I find one that's directionally correct. And then I take it into Photoshop and just manually clean up all the mistakes, and then add like an accent color. So we have this red accent color. So then I add the accent color somewhere, and then I put it on the page, and it looks like cohesive and identical. And it took me 20 minutes to make the perfect image that is like this abstract representation of this non-technical concept, you know?
Right.
So trying to do stuff like that, spend money to move faster. In this case, it was like, Midjourney's $20 a month and the prompts were $50. So who cares?
Yeah. Right. Wow. I didn't know. Yeah. Every time I've gone with the AI images, it's like, you can't get the same image back out. And it's super annoying. So, but Midjourney, it sounds like, has a solution to that problem.
Yes. There's like I think it's like a SREF flag or something. And I'm very sensitive to AI images that look like AI. And so the style we chose is not like photorealistic or like, flying through outer space, or some of these that are very clearly AI generated. It is much more like a halftone or dithered, like black and white, almost newspaper style. And so I feel like it fits better because it's not trying to be realistic. And so it is like it's like an artistic representation of the idea, not a picture of the idea.
Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna check out this Midjourney again. Yeah, because I haven't tried it out since it was just in Discord, and I'm like, that's
so ridiculous.
Stupid. I can't deal with this.
It's embarrassing.
Although I guess it worked for them, right? Like it worked, but it wasn't for us at that point.
It wasn't for the olds.
For us.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so the O1 Pro, what does that get you that the regular O1 doesn't? Just more capacity or speed, or
a lot longer like chain of thought, and so it'll think for like 3 or 4 minutes and then come back with a much longer response. So it's not great for like, hey, write me a loop that iterates this and then does this in reverse. You don't need it for that. That's a waste of money or time, rather.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I have to check that out too. I'm always looking for ways to spend more money. So
I know.
There we go.
It's the end of the year.
O1 Pro, get it in now. Yeah, I wonder if they let you do annual. Sometimes they don't these days.
Yeah, I don't know if they do.
Yeah, I don't know if they do. Okay, so I like all that. That's all good.
Okay.
So what do you got? What else you got? That's it? That's only like 20 things? Come on.
I know, that's only 20 things.
Personal? Well, personal.
Well, business is personal, man. It's the most personal thing in the world. It's Michael Scott.
You going what about a trip? Any big trips? You gonna pack the whole crew up on a big trip?
The whole crew? No. Amsterdam in February, Utah in March, maybe. I'm going to Poland, I think, for a conference.
Oh, wow.
In June or July. Okay. And then the keynote, the one I'm keynoting is here in Dallas, and that's like October, November.
Right. But that's all just you stuff. That's not the crew.
Yeah. Big personal update. This is pre-2025, December 27th. So 4 days from now is Jennifer and Mai's 10-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's
10
awesome.
years.
Wow.
So pretty big deal. So this is personal. And in 2025, once the au pair is back, because she's out of town right now, which is killing us.
Oh man, the au pair
we
can't
will
leave. I hate that.
We'll do a one night staycation. That's all we can get away with. So we'll probably send the older kids to grandma and grandpa, and then the younger kids will have Jasmine watch them, overnight.
Yeah.
And we'll go somewhere and have a nice dinner and have a nice like hotel, and we can sleep in and get a breakfast and a coffee. And so that's not
a staycation though. That's still outside the house.
It's outside the house, but not outside the city.
Yes. Okay.
So we'll go to 10 minutes away to a hotel.
Right.
But it'll be great. It'll feel amazing. We
tried that last
such a
winter, like before I got sick. So like, I don't know, it was January, February, and like 2 a.m, my daughter somehow texted this crazy message. I'm sure I talked about it on the show. And then so we ended up coming back from the staycation at 2 a.m. To the house, and she was sleeping and it was fine. She like woke up and slept walked or something to her iPad and wrote a weirdo message to me. So good luck. Hopefully nobody nobody messages you oddly at 2 a.m.
Yeah, but, I hope not.
No, that's a good plan. That's a great plan. We did also something like that also last year, which was it was like 40 minutes away, but not too. Our kids are obviously bigger, but wasn't too bad, and it was nice. Just that one night away, it is quite restorative when you can make it work. Even just the one night of like not preparing dinner, not cleaning up, not people screaming and yelling and all that stuff. So
can you imagine having a slow morning?
Like that
sounds amazing.
But that phase you're in, it's like I just Apple just randomly brought up this like video the other day that I was watching, and it was like all the kids. So this is like, I guess it must have been like 2015 or something. And Mia was like 2, and she's like learning to potty train. She's at the table with food, and she's just yelling, pink underwear, over and pink underwear. She's yelling, but she's like laughing, like she knows she's like pushing it, right? Kids. But she's like, pink underwear. Because I think there was something with like, to get underwear, you got to go to the toilet, whatever, all that stuff. So she's yelling pink underwear. She's getting food, throwing it on the floor. Then the middle kid, I pan to him. He's got a huge Gandalf staff.
Yep.
And he's banging her in the head now with the Gandalf staff. And then the oldest one is coming over and like, I told you not to go pee-pee in your pants. And like, he's yelling. And it's just like people yelling and screaming and hitting. And they were all actually having fun. It wasn't actually even bad, but it was just like, just the sound of it all, like the cacophony of chaos. I was like, boy, that was something back then. Just like,
boy.
Continuous noise.
That is exactly where we are.
Exactly. So yeah,
my youngest or my oldest daughter lost one of her cheap little, nothing like gloves, and so I asked Jennifer. I was like, Amelia only has one glove, right? And she said, yeah, I'm gonna buy her some new gloves. I actually ordered them at Target, and I need to go pick them up. And Amelia starts saying, "What gloves?" And we're like, we're just going to get you some new gloves. What are the gloves? Mommy's going to pick up some new gloves. No, what are the gloves? I'm like, I don't understand. What do you want?
Not a sensible question.
And I think she was leaving out the word color because my wife then said, we're just going to get you we got you some new blue gloves. And she just
that was
started smiling. Like, what are the gloves is a different question than what color are the gloves.
That's great.
Yeah. So we're like standing outside this park and she's screaming, what are the gloves? And we're both like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that is totally the phase that we are in right now.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. Oh man.
So I don't know. Other personal updates, probably no underground garage, but it's potential, it's still there.
You never know.
See.
Maybe
see.
the end
I
of
haven't
the
gotten
year.
a quote yet. We could do it.
See how the revenue goes.
Yeah.
Housing stuff's done though, right? You're good with housing?
Mostly.
Oh, shit. Mostly.
Yeah.
Just tweaking.
Mostly. Just yeah. It's never done.
Well, I guess you might have a move. You might have a Try Hard Studios move potentially at some point.
Yep. Might have hopefully have a factory. April, May, June, something like that.
Okay. That's a lot. You're
a lot.
Good on stuff.
Good on stuff. I got enough stuff.
None of that was really side project to you though. No side projects. What about something a little out there? Nothing out there.
I think
you're just gonna let it come.
If we can still pull off the factory, which I think we can. I think the physical product is gonna scratch the side project itch. And so that's where I'm really putting my hopes on, whatever the side project hobby kind of like outlet is. Yeah. That's where I'm putting my hopes and dreams is on that physical product creation. So I'm still about 90% sure that we'll be able to do that. The timeline has just shifted back as I've realized the business is make courses to make money. So gotta get more of those out there to get the baseline a little higher, and then it makes a little bit more sense to allow me to go off and explore a little bit.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yes Man's all about it. Yes Man's approved.
Great.
I don't feel like you probably leveraged this gift, to be honest with you. I feel like this wasn't even that crazy.
I know. I've been so trained that I had to hold back.
You come in line. I don't know. I don't like this. I feel like
I hate it. I hate it. Exactly. Gotta dream a little bigger, man.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's about it. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything else.
That's going to be plenty. A lot. I think you're going to be busy to do even half of that. If half of that gets done, I think you'll feel like it was a lot. And
I think so.
It took a lot of work. So
yes.
Yeah. Especially with the open source stuff. I mean, you've been on that lately, maintaining that or getting somebody to help maintain it or whatever. Like it's a lot just in that stuff. Is a lot. So yeah. All right. Very good. Well, I think that's 2025 wrapped up. Hopefully
it's a big one.
Let's just get through all those things we said. I don't want any side adventures. I don't want any illnesses.
I can't do it. Actually, I can make no guarantees on any of that. There will probably be side adventures.
You can't guarantee?
There will probably be illnesses. Let's be honest.
No illnesses.
Not for you.
Okay, good. All right.
Not for you.
As long as I'm off the hook. That's fine.
You're off the hook.
Thank you. All right. So let's do mostly technical.
Let's do it.
2025.
Let's reveal the big tease.
We'll wrap it
And
up.
if you fast forwarded to get to this point, how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? After all we've given you,
Grass.
unbelievable. All right,
All right.
give us the numbies.
So this year we did $17,000 in
Okay,
ad revenue.
we love it.
Not
That's
bad.
better than a poke in the eye.
That is better than poke in the eye. And we weren't really working at it per se.
No.
I mean, there's like a page on the site, and that's kind of it. We don't really push it. So, what do we think so we have the new ad platform coming on at some point here, which I think we're both excited about the possibilities. I actually had some people messaging me asking me if it's going to be a SaaS. They're already asking me.
There we go.
Well, I was like, I don't think it's built like a SaaS. I don't know how it's actually built, but I'm pretty sure he didn't build it.
See,
as a
we are
SaaS for
90
day one,
seconds
but-
into saying no side quests for 2025, and I'm already thinking
like we should
we
do
got a
this. Why is
SaaS.
it not a
We're
SaaS?
doing a SaaS. Let's do it, baby.
See, here's what I think though. I love that it's not built like a SaaS. I hope he didn't build it like a SaaS because I feel like that's better. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like
I
it
don't.
started just for us. No.
Ah, yes,
It's
yes,
just
yes. I
for
see.
us. We're using it just for us.
Yeah.
And if it demands to be a SaaS, then we will then take the time or the money or whatever to make it into a SaaS.
Yep.
As opposed to us just being like going off down that it's a SaaS. And once you do that, then you have all these other considerations because it's not just for us and we can't just hack stuff in there, right? And so now it becomes a whole big thing. And then we're trying to market it and sell it. But no, like just for us.
Nope.
And if it's awesome and people are like, why can't I use this awesome thing? Then we can put in the effort. I feel like we're doing it the correct order. Like we're proving that it's useful and then it's useful to other people as opposed to us assuming it'll be useful to other people before we even know if it's useful to us. So
I agree.
I like that part. So that'll be out, which I'm very excited about.
Me too.
And then, I don't know though. So what do we think we can do numbers wise? Do we want to put a number on it?
Yeah, of course we want to put a number on it.
All
Are you
right.
crazy?
All right. Let's put a number
All right,
on
so we got to do a little bit of math again. That's the problem. Well, do you have a number in mind?
I don't really have a number in mind. I've thought about the like numbers to charge, but I don't necessarily I haven't thought about like what it would be over a whole year. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking my thought was like $1,000 an ad, and you're basically getting roughly 4 ads. You're getting 1 month of ads. So, I mean, obviously you could just math that out into being like, well, how much of our inventory are we selling or whatever. But I don't know if 1,000 is the right number. Maybe it's too little. Maybe it's too much. I don't know. We haven't talked about this, you and me.
No, we
so
haven't.
I don't know.
All right, I've got a number that I think we can hit in 2025.
What is it?
$50,000.
Okay. I like that number.
I think we can do that.
So we did 17, so it's like 3x this year.
How does that move you?
I like it. I think it's good for a goal. I think I would love a stretch goal of like 70.
I love a stretch goal.
But I think that's going to be definitely harder. I mean, we don't even have the platform on, whatever. We have to see how many ads we can actually sell. See if the people like the ads and all that stuff. I think 50 seems like it should be possible.
50 seems imminently doable.
Yeah. And that's a nice number, right? It's like, hey, 25 each. That's real money.
That's real money.
That's useful amounts of money we can use for things. Yeah. I like that.
50 it is. Let's do 50.
50 it is. All right. 50 is the goal. Write it down.
Gotta sell some ads.
You gotta sell some ads. You can't buy any ads yet, but if you want to buy if you want to buy an ad, let's put it this way. If you want to buy an ad, you should email mostlytechnicalpod, right? Is that the email? mostlytechnicalpodcast@gmail.com. And I will put you on a little wait list. And when the ad platform is up, you can be in the first group.
You'll be first to hear about it.
Yes. And I actually already do have at least 1, maybe 2 people on that list already. So yeah. So I think hopefully we can get a few in there. I think launch day partners will
love that.
Will benefit by being launch day partners, and we're likely to talk about this quite a bit, I would imagine, once it rolls out. So yeah. Email and I'll put you on the list. And yeah, I think it's doable.
I think it's doable.
I love
That'd be
getting
great.
paid to do stuff.
Can you
Don't love
imagine?
getting paid to do things?
Can you imagine? That'd be amazing.
Paid to entertain people. Like, this is truly the dream, right? Like,
That is the
paid
dream.
to entertain people. How great is that?
That is the dream, and I think we
So
can do
good.
it.
It's like being a rock star. You know?
It is. It's exactly the same as being a famous rock star. Yes.
The only thing it's not the same as, and maybe we got to think about this. The best part about Rockstar, right, is not just that you got paid for entertaining people, but that 20 years later,
I
when
know.
someone plays your song, you get paid again.
I know.
You just
I know.
keep getting paid. Will people pay us for this podcast?
In 20 years?
How
Absolutely
about 1 year?
not.
How about 1 year from now?
No. Not even a little bit.
Maybe we gotta start singing on here or something.
No,
Sing?
that would
No?
be worse. They wouldn't pay us currently, much less 1 year from now. I think the expansion move for the podcast is obviously ads and then some sort of merch or some other monetization thing.
There's no money in merch, but I do love the idea of merch just being out there. I love that idea. People wearing our merch is really cool.
Ads are the ticket. That's what we got to do. Got to make a bunch of money on ads.
If we did merch, would you want to do? I think a lot of podcasts seem to do the there's a merch season, right? It's like maybe in the fall. It's like it's a 1 month run or whatever. It's not that there's a store there all the time. It's like if you want merch,
I do like that. It adds some urgency, and then it gets you off the hook for the other 11 months out of the year.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
I do like that.
Yeah, we need merch though. We have a lack of merch.
We do have a lack of merch.
No,
we can figure something out there.
That's it.
Okay, I like it.
All right, that's the plan. Everybody chime in. Let us know what you think about the plan. And if you're interested in sponsoring and helping the show, let me know. And we will, I don't know, we're going to see them next week. We're thinking about maybe taking next week off, but we'll see.
I think we're thinking about taking next week off. What's next week? Next week is the 30th, Monday the 30th. Honestly, I think I might be back in the office that day. So we'll play it by ear.
We'll see. There's a chance you won't hear from us next week. There's a chance you will. Maybe we'll do like a 10-minute one. We'll do a quick hit.
I like that.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. MostlyTechnical.com, at MostlyTechnicalPod on Twitter, MostlyTechnical.com on Blue Sky, our favorite, and MostlyTechnicalPodcast at gmail.com. If you want to advertise or say hi or anything else, send us an email. And we will talk to you soon. Later.
See ya.